This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Two teenagers are fighting for their lives and two others are injured after the car they were in was driven into a pond on the southeast side. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. The Indianapolis Fire Department says heroic actions by IMPD officers helped get those teenagers out of the water. Indianapolis firefighters and emergency crews were called to the scene around 7 p.m. in a neighborhood on Ash Tree Drive that's near Shelbyville and East Stop 11 roads. IFD says Metro police officers were close by in that neighborhood and responded to the scene first. One of the officers quickly jumped into the water to help.
The first officer, who is a relatively new officer on the job, got about 3 years on the job, was a college swimmer. He was the first one in the water and was able to pull out two of the victims. He pulled out a young male and a young female from the car. There was a pretty heroic effort by everyone involved to, once those kids were out of the water, then they were able to kind of work together to get them treatment on scene and get them transported to area hospitals.
The two teenagers that were trapped in the car are both in critical condition. The other two are hospitalized in good condition. Investigators say right now it's not clear why the driver left the road, but the driver did hit a tree before going into the water. The cause of the crash is being investigated by IMPD.
And they said they was going to call the police where they wanted to call the police on us.
Tonight, Colts linebacker Darius Leonard finds himself right in the middle of the national discussion on racial profiling. Leonard says he was kicked out of a Florence, South Carolina Chipotle, claiming he is the victim of discrimination. Leonard says he was with a group and was finishing up when they were asked to leave by the manager. Leonard says he and his group, 3 black men and a biracial woman, were simply eating and having a casual conversation, but a white customer allegedly felt threatened and told the manager that Leonard and his companions were abusing him and talking trash. Leonard calls that a flat-out lie.
That's what being black in America is right now. You know, us not even doing anything wrong, going out to eat with your family, just trying to spend a little bit of quality time and can't enjoy eating anymore.
Chipotle has suspended the manager involved, and Chipotle's chairman and CEO released a statement saying the company has a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination of any kind. The Colts released a statement saying, quote, Darius's experiences demonstrate the struggle so many black Americans and people of color face every day. This Thursday, right here on RTV6, we will air a virtual town hall called A Conversation on Race, connecting Central Indiana with our partners at Radio 1. The hour-long town hall is a chance to have a conversation that covers the history of racial injustice and how we got to where we are today. There will be panelists that will discuss where we are right now, how to move forward, and how to deal with interactions with law enforcement. On that panel will be Maggie A. Lewis, the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis, who is a mother of a teenage son.
So important that we train our youth to be leaders and make sound decisions and choices. And so it's important that we spend that time having those conversations and then also allowing them a safe space to ask questions about what's happening in our community. As a mother, like, I'm always afraid that something's going to happen to my child. And so it's important that I talk to him about his decisions and choices that he's making. And again, at the end of the day, I just want my baby to return back home to my husband and I.
RTV6.
The Conversation on Race will air this Thursday, July 2nd from 7 to 8 p.m. A Randolph County man was shot after exchanging gunfire with Delaware County deputies. It happened just before 10 o'clock Friday night at County Road 900 North, just east of Walnut Street. Investigators say the 38-year-old man from Farmland, Indiana, led deputies on a chase before finally stopping the car. He allegedly fired at officers as he got out of the car, and they fired back. He's now at a Muncie hospital. No word on his condition. Officials say he was wanted on a warrant for possession of meth. One person is dead, another person injured after a shooting late Friday night on the northeast side. The shooting happened in the 4100 block of North Brentwood Drive near East 42nd Street and North Post Road. One person died at the hospital. The other person is in stable condition. Their identities have not been released. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts standing by. Kyle, turned into be a decent evening tonight.
Yeah, that, Nicole, after a soggy day here across much of central Indiana. And for some of us, we got more rainfall than we need. Check out there around Benton County, where they picked up close to 7 inches of rain throughout the day. And areas between there and I-70 picking up between about 2 and 4 inches of rain. Then it really tapered off to the south. Out there tonight, things are fairly quiet. We've had one shower in Jackson County, that continuing to fall apart. Where we do have some more widespread rain, or at least more intense rainfall, is around the Williamsport area. Thunderstorm back into Illinois. I think that will kind of fade away as it moves off to the east. Temperatures have been holding steady in the 70s, and as we go into tonight, I don't think they're going to move too far. We'll have those isolated shower and storm chances with low temperatures right around 70 degrees. We'll look ahead to your Sunday in a few minutes, Nicole.
Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports nearly 500 new cases. 2,424 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. More than 44,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, and more than 463,000 people have been tested in Indiana, with 9.6% testing positive. The United States has surpassed the grim milestone of 125,000 deaths as a result of COVID-19. And there's a disturbing new trend that doctors are seeing across the country. ABC's Karina Mitchell has those details.
As the U.S. marks a new daily record of diagnosed coronavirus cases, 11 states now pausing their reopening plans. Florida, particularly hard hit, seeing an increase Friday of more than 9,000 cases in a single day. Governor Ron DeSantis trying to downplay the spike, not mandating masks statewide.
And we're going to trust people to make good decisions.
Still, Floridians out of luck if they want to visit a bar. The governor now shutting them down again. In Texas, a similar situation. Governor Greg Abbott, in an interview with the ABC station in El Paso, admitting, quote, in hindsight, the state reopened too quickly.
Bars is a type of setting that's not made for a pandemic.
Restaurant capacity is now being scaled back and elective surgery suspended as hospitalizations surge. ICU units at capacity.
Seeing people die because of it, and I'll be honest, I'm scared to death.
This virus is out of control in Houston. If we don't act to get it under control, very bad, extremely bad things will happen.
Businesses getting hit.
You know, we were hoping it would turn around by May, but now that everything is going in the wrong direction, it doesn't look like we're going to be over this anytime soon.
And in California, doctors seeing an alarming new trend.
Typically, though, what we are seeing as compared to early in the pandemic, we are seeing more younger patients than older patients.
But at the first White House coronavirus task force briefing in almost 2 months, Vice President Pence defending the president's recent rally in Arizona with thousands of college students.
And even in a health crisis, the American people don't forfeit our constitutional rights.
Dr. Anthony Fauci instead delivering a wake-up call, saying more people will die.
If we want to end this outbreak, we've got to realize that we are part of the process.
Meanwhile, in New York and New Jersey, confirmed cases continue to subside. New Jersey announcing plans to reopen schools this fall, and New York City on track for phase 3 reopening July 6. Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
A real treat tonight for music fans who've been missing the excitement of a good outdoor concert. Country superstar Garth Brooks gave them the next best thing, a concert streamed live on 300 drive-in theater screens across the country. 19 of those venues were right here in Indiana, and this was the scene a short time ago at the Tibbs Drive-In on the west side. The concert was a one-night-only event. Looks like a lot of fun. People are encouraged to wear a mask in public places like the grocery store. So why did one store send several workers home because they wore masks? Find out straight ahead. Man on a mission, and it's a matter of life and death for a child close to his heart. Coming up next, why he's making a long journey on his feet with no shoes.
You can find new roads with confidence.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
In the weeks since the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, protesters have been taking to the streets demanding justice and calling for an end to what they call systemic racism. Those protests continued today in cities across the country. The death of Elijah McClain last August after a confrontation with police in Aurora, Colorado is under new scrutiny. The officers involved were reassigned, but protesters are now demanding justice for the young black man. In Atlanta, calls for change continue to grow. Protesters took to the streets once again following the death of Rayshard Brooks in a Wendy's parking lot at the hands of police. And in Boston, hundreds of mothers of black children took part in the inaugural March Like a Mother for Black Lives event. More than 20 employees have walked out of a Boston area Whole Foods after the store banned Black Lives Matter masks. A Whole Foods spokesperson says the dress code has been around a long time. It prohibits clothes with slogans, logos, or messages not related to the company. But two of the workers say managers pick and choose when to apply the policy.
He said I'm in violation of dress code, and then I asked him, well, Black Lives Matter isn't a brand. Who owns the LLC for Black Lives Matter, the brand?
People are allowed to wear pins, LGBTQ pins, and they have never called us out on wearing our Red Sox masks or Patriots masks.
Employees hope Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos will advocate for them. Amazon is the parent company of Whole Foods, and Bezos has donated $10 million to organizations that support Black Lives Matter. Princeton University is removing President Woodrow Wilson's name from its School of Public Policy. The board also voted to remove it from a residential college. Wilson was president of Princeton before he became president of the United States. He was also known to express some very racist leanings. He once called racial segregation a benefit and said slaves were happy and well cared for. Today, a Zionsville man took off his tennis shoes for a run to raise some awareness for a rare disease impacting his family. Our Troy Washington is working for you to show why the shoes weren't necessary for this half marathon run.
Shoes off and their minds set on turning heads.
Running barefoot's a good attention getter, and when people ask why, it's a great conversation starter.
Jeremy Shupert isn't doing this barefoot run alone. He's got his friends running shoeless through Carmel and downtown Zionsville for the cause too. They're running to raise awareness for a rare disease his cousin was born with.
Pearson syndrome, first off, is a kind of mitochondria depleting genetic disorder. So it affects their blood and white blood cell count. Essentially, it affects their organs, and the prognosis is not the best, so possibly a short-lived life.
Luca was born premature and not long after birth diagnosed with Pearson syndrome. Jeremy is running to raise money and awareness for treatment, since right now there is no cure, and the top expert for the disease is located in Israel.
Little Luca is 8 months old. Cutest little big brown eyes, big cheeks. It's adorable. When I originally started my campaign to raise funds, my challenge was to run at least 2 miles barefoot every single day for 30 days straight. And I thought that would be physically and mentally challenging for myself. On about day 20, I realized that it wasn't enough of a challenge to make myself uncomfortable. And so I decided to spice it up.
So he decided to go a step further and up the ante to running 13.1 miles.
It's challenging, and I think it makes people feel a little vulnerable to think that they can't do it. But the point was to prove that when the body is healthy and functioning, it's capable of amazing things. And it's those that are born without those healthy bodies that really need our attention and our help.
Working for you in Carmel, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. And as we mentioned, there's not yet a cure for the disease, but there are clinical trials going on right now, and Shepard is encouraging everyone to give to the Champ Foundation, which funds research towards a cure. Kyle.
Yeah, a bit of a wet day for a run outdoors today. In Indianapolis, we picked up about 1 1/3 inches, the most we've had in a single day here in the month of June, and now puts us for the month over the 3-inch mark, still a little shy of average, but I think we're going to continue to make up for that here over the next few days. Tonight, things are fairly quiet. You can see there's an area of rain in Illinois stretching across the state line around Williamsport. That, though, does seem to kind of be losing a bit of its punch and will continue to fall apart. Temperatures, it's still warm and muggy out there tonight. You're in the upper 60s in Peru. The rest of us, though, in the 70s. 70 degrees right now in Martinsville, 73 in Connorsville, and Crawfordsville at 70 degrees. Your Sunday planning forecast, it does start off a little bit damp. We'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms. I think the rain coverage is going to be lower tomorrow than what we had. In fact, as we go into the afternoon, the rain chances drop off, and that will allow temperatures to recover back into the middle 80s. Today, we were only in the 70s for that afternoon high. So here's a look at TrueCast. We'll actually pick things up as we go through the overnight. You do start to see a few more of those showers and storms developing. I think we will see the best rain chances through the first half of our Sunday near and south of I-70. The good news about that is that's the area that didn't see quite as much rainfall throughout the day today, so that should limit our flooding threat. And then as we go into the afternoon, you notice it's just very isolated for us. But any of those storms that do develop, there is that marginal risk we could have an isolated one with some gusty winds. High temperature 85 in Indy and Bloomington, 84 your afternoon number in the Lafayette area, and temperatures are going to remain warm here as we go through the next several days. Highs middle 80s to close to 90 degrees. Also staying high will be those rain chances. This is a look at TrueCast on Monday, and you can see may not be a washout, but we will have those rounds of rain right on into the middle part of the week, and actually looks like that will stick out beyond and helping us out with those very dry conditions across central Indiana. Checking out the 7-day planning forecast now. Daily chance for showers and storms as we put things together for you. We've got those highs in the middle to even upper 80s, close to 90 in some spots on Monday. The rain chances begin to drop off by Thursday and Friday to just 30%. And it looks like right now for the 4th of July, we've got that isolated rain chance in there. Should be a hot one with highs approaching 90 degrees.
And are you ready for some football? They are at Grand Park. Camp underway, week 2 of 4. I'm Dave Furst.
My hips are turning, okay?
Coming up in our Sports Extra Spotlight.
Now at Wickerworks right here in Brownsburg.
With the state in stage 4, amateur youth sports can get back on the field, and at Grand Park in Westfield, that means football. The start of a brand new camp with some legendary instruction, over 300 kids between all of the sessions, a grand solution for those wanting to get back. Sports Director Dave Furst with the Sports Extra Spotlight.
It's the start of summer in Indiana, but inside Grand Park's indoor facility, it feels a lot more like fall. It just might be the grab of the offseason. The new Grand Park football camps led by longtime high school coach Lance Shai.
I approached Grand Park about a month and a half ago and said we'd like to somehow grow the footprint of football here at Grand Park. And talking to Will Knox and Matt Trinan, they both were like, hey, this is a great opportunity.
We've been a big soccer campus. We've had a lot of baseball, softball. We've grown lacrosse. Really want to grow the sport of football here at Grand Park, and we found that these camps will be a great starting point, especially with these kids not having the opportunity to play sports for the last handful of months.
Built from the ground up. Fundamentals first, advanced level stuff after that. And the camp comes in 2 waves, 3rd through 8th grade, and then after that, the high schoolers. And the instruction may get amped up a little bit as well. Look over there. The former Colts Robert Mathis and Dan Muir. The 2 started their own gridiron gang instruction a few years ago.
My hips are turning, okay?
The 7-year NFL vet and the Colts' all-time sack leader should get their attention pretty quick.
Do these guys you're working with, do they realize the numbers that you've put up as a pro? Do you get respect in that way or no?
It's funny because a lot of these kids were born after I was in the league, so I know they don't remember a whole lot.
In a way, you're giving back. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
It does make you feel very good. I mean, especially with the big guys, being able to get these pass rushers going and these pass blockers going is good because they get neglected a lot of the time.
It's position-specific training from guys in the trenches, and they just added 11-year Charger offensive lineman Nick Hardwick. Remember, he didn't even play football in high school, but
going to Lawrence North, you would have killed for this kind of instruction.
Yeah, this didn't exist. Yeah, this facility didn't exist. This kind of instruction didn't exist. The specialization wasn't really a thing.
Whether you're throwing, catching, or digging deep in the trenches, it's a summer school unlike most.
Oh, it's my passion, teaching what I know. So kind of like to stay in my lane. If I know it, I'll teach it. If I don't, I'll avoid it.
It's just been great to see the kids run around laughing, doing what they loved to do during this time of the year.
Truly a grand time. Day first, RTV6 Sports.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Today, Gleaner's Food Bank of Indiana took its mobile food pantry to Fortville, where more than 250 hungry families now have groceries they need to get by. Volunteers, along with the National Guard, started loading up cars that lined up at 10 o'clock this morning at Fortville Christian Church. The church has a food bank where they help families year-round, but as we've told you during the pandemic, Gleaner's Food Bank is seeing a drastic increase in the number of families relying on their services. Volunteers we talked to today say helping those in need fulfills a common human bond, knowing they are helping Hoosier families.
We're all humans at the end of the day. We're all people first. I mean, people coming together is what it's all about in this life. Whether your beliefs are this way, left, right, I mean, this is just what it's about. It's coming together in a time of need like this.
Over the next few weeks, Gleaners will bring the mobile food pantry to several counties all across central Indiana, including Bartholomew, Boone, and Decatur counties. Just click the Find Help tab on their website to find the location and date for the pantry. And this shows just how big the need is during the pandemic. I-Town Church fed more than 500 families today. They passed out boxes full of food, enough to feed a family of 4. Volunteers were in Indy on the west side and in Anderson for a drive-up giveaway. In Bluffton, they went door to door passing out food. And starting next week, I-Town Church will begin distributing food boxes for the USDA Farmers to Families program and plan to widen their reach, serving thousands more in July. For millions of Instagram users and followers, food pictures get a ton of likes. One Indianapolis woman has turned her photogenic donuts into a full-on business and also one of the hottest gets in the city. Brad Brown got a taste behind the scenes.
There's an old saying that you eat with your eyes. When you see things that are this stunning visually, you can be sure that they taste just as good.
I didn't think it was going to happen as quick as it did, I guess. Yeah, it's just happening a lot faster than I was expecting.
Amanda Gibson is the self-taught baker behind the Indie Dough account on Instagram. More than 4,000 followers and rising, much like some of the dough that's got Circle City donut fans buzzing.
I think that it came from just wanting to have a creative outlet, and I just wanted to do something that was mine in the kitchen, and so baking came to fruition, and then Instagram.
The Indiana native was working at a donut shop in Jacksonville, moved back home as a new mom and to be closer to her family.
So I moved and I didn't find any donuts here that were like mine, so I decided to go back to the kitchen and redevelop recipes that were my own.
A wildly creative mind and meticulous process have led to a long list of amazing flavors. On this particular day, it's a s'mores old-fashioned with torched marshmallow topping.
With donuts, too, they're kind of like you can put anything on top of them. So that's the other great thing is just anything you want to do. It's a blank canvas.
Amanda's Indie Dough pop-up sales now end up sold out just minutes after she posts the links online. And she's teaming up with other local restaurants for donuts plus just about anything events.
That was another reason why I wanted to start doing Indie Dough, was because I wanted to make contact with more people that were small businesses within the community, and I just wanted to be in the restaurant industry, and this was my way of doing it with the time constraints that I had with also wanting to be a full-time mom.
Rain and storms going to be a part of our forecast over the next 7 days. So will the warm and muggy conditions. High temperatures, middle 80s, even approaching 90 degrees on a couple of occasions. One of those looks like it will be the 4th of July right now with a high of 89. Nicole?
Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.